I was very happy and excited about yesterday because I finally got to interview a guy he's called Beto Benitez. He's an outstanding actor, Peruvian actor, and he's worked in Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Peru. And he's just, yes, and he's traveled with theatre as well. And it's a dream of mine to basically interview a bunch of actors and know what their craft is like, what they like to do. But that's pretty much it. So I was very excited, and let's plow forward. Another thing that I learnt yesterday was the following. So I'm listening to this audio program with Tony Robbins saying that, I'll show you quickly. Basically, you have like a bullseye, like a target, something like that. I'm always concerned if like I'm showing something that's like not cool, like if I write something embarrassing, but which is very personal. But anyway, so the outside circle is the dimension of distraction. That means that we do things that are not urgent and not important. So for instance, if I'm feeling kind of low, or like I'm just stressed out, or like I've been doing something that I don't like, then I'm like, I need a quick break. So you go have like make tea, make food, eat it, or go on your phone or YouTube or Twitter, or like go read the news, something that just distracts you from you currently have, which is in the end it satisfies your feeling of switching focus so that you might feel relieved. So in short, like if you do it not too much, it's good. It's like everyone needs it, we're all human. But if you do it all the time, then actually what it does is that it just creates more stress. And that's exactly what I've had today, because even though yesterday I had an amazing day, and in the sense that I got to interview Beto, and I'm like moving forward and I'm learning, it's super hard this year for actors out there, but as well, that's all in the mindset, because there are ways that we can move forward. I'm not saying to be like ridiculous and like ignore the current circumstance, but I'm saying like, okay, see this current circumstance, and there has to be a way to like move forward. And I think that's like what the smartest people or most entrepreneurial people have been doing, and hopefully I get to try the two. So dimension of distraction is when you do not urgent, not important things, but for instance, if emails keep popping up, and then you start answering them, or WhatsApp or whatever, the issue is that you get this feeling of excitement or satisfaction from accomplishing a task, which is like inherent in humans. However, then you distract yourself from the really important things, which is the center of the target. But let's go in order. So the outside, there's four. The outside one is dimension of distraction, so that's not urgent, not important. Then the third one, which is right inside, is the dimension of delusion, which it's urgent but not important. So if someone's like comes into your office, that's the example Tony Robbins says, but if someone just like calls me up and says like, hey, like we need to order food, and your phone's the only one working with the food delivery app, I'm like, okay, let's do it. But I completely get distracted, which means not only like I'm stopping doing like the important things I needed to do, but then once I go back, it's going to take me a long time to get back in the groove that I was in. And then the second circle, which would be the dimension of what is it called, dimension of distraction again? I'm sure this is not what it is. Okay, whatever. But then the second one is what is urgent and important. So for instance, if like someone says like, hey, like your family member has like broken their hand, whatever, then that is urgent and that's important, and then you're gonna go to them to the hospital, see they're okay, blah blah. So like you have to do those things obviously, but just make sure that you ask, what Tony Robbins says is that you ask what is the outcome, so that people don't waste time like observing or like analyzing or evaluating different like options, but you just go with like the most effective thing to get to your outcome. And then the other thing is if someone else can do those jobs. So for instance, if it's urgent and important to book flights for something, is there like he was saying that he had a personal assistant that could take care of those things, and then you have time to do the center the target of this, which would be it's the not urgent but important, and that's how you get the dimension of fulfillment. So for me, what is not urgent but is very important is my career. And I'm gonna be plainly honest, like I got so distracted with social media because it's entertaining, you get a laugh, and yes, there's some people that are like really successful with that and then can do other things, but then you have to, like, I was being very honest with myself, and at this point social media is not like one of the things that I want to focus right now, just because, and it might be like a complete thing that I change around in the future, but right now I'm focusing on more acting and producing things, and I know that social media is super important for a brand, but the way that I was using social media wasn't helpful, because I was just spending time on there, and I was like, yeah, but I'm whatever. So so just make sure that the important things, like finishing the script or getting the contacts or whatever, like that those things are in place, because the truth is doing the social media didn't hurt just my career, but it also hurt, like, I think my relationships, because I'm here in Peru with my family, and I'm like, well, I'm not always here, and if I am, I get this amazing opportunity to be with my family. So if I spend 2 hours on the phone watching videos, or an hour, whereas I could have spent that time having really in like heart-to-heart conversations with my family, or just chilling with my family, or playing a board game or jumping in the pool, I think that's worth it. So I just wanted to share with you guys those 4 things. And I've been thinking, like, today it was crazy how quickly I got sucked into, like, last night, for instance, I had a very good day in terms of all my distractions were to the minimum, and I focused on the important things, and it was so good. But then at night I was like, oh, I'm gonna use social media as a way of like saying how excited I was, because I really genuinely was, about having done the first interview with an actor, and it's a dream I've had for years now, and then I got stuck watching videos for I think a couple of hours, and that took my time from sleeping, because I was going to bed at like 9:30. I don't know, that's not interesting, but I just wanted to say that today I've so far spent a lot of time in the not urgent and not important, and even though I got some important things done, it messes with like my self-esteem. And I had an interesting thought that I don't know if you guys know or what if you guys think about this, but in social media, of course there's value in like what other people think of you. And so if you let your self-appreciation be governed by other people's opinion, then it's like, I see a lot of people thinking like, oh, I have to spend like 12 hours on TikTok to make sure that my followers like have something that is good or something, and like that's crazy. Yes, use it as a business tool, I guess, a brand, but just maybe be aware yourself if all your like self-worth is coming from like, are people watching, or like, are people liking this. If you look at it from a business standpoint, like, oh, okay, so like I now know what people want to watch, and therefore I can make better content, then yeah, by all means, like, if that's what you want to do now. But yeah, what was I thinking? Oh yes, and the one thing that Tony Robbins did say is that the not urgent and not important things, which is like the things that we do to break and change like the way we're feeling, which is our state, those things create so much stress, because we know deep down, or we know consciously, that we are wasting time. So instead of like, so we do create a break, but it's not really relaxing. So you get to do things that make you feel like good now, but not long term, and you also don't accomplish the goals long term. So you're like, yeah. So I think that's why it's so stressful, and how we have so much stress as a generation. I think, well, there's obviously countless factors, but that might be one thing, that we're like, that we might be triggered to perceive other people's like likes and follows and whatever, like appreciation of who we are, as the sole metric of like how good or important we are. And then the other thing would be what I just mentioned, which is that the not important and not urgent things create a lot of stress. So I just wanted to leave that with you guys because that's what I learned today, and I'm trying to do this vlog thing to share things that I've learned.